She walked into that pharmacy to get better. She never walked out alive. On the morning of Monday, December 1st, 2025, a young woman named Loveth Uloma Nwangwu was sitting inside a pharmacy near Nsukka town in Enugu State, Nigeria. She was not there for anything serious, she just needed treatment. Maybe she thought the worst was behind her. Maybe she believed that because she had finally gone to the police 3 days earlier, she was now safe. She was wrong. Before we get to what happened inside that pharmacy on that terrible Monday morning, we need to go back. Way back, because to understand why Loveth ended up in that pharmacy and why she never came home, you need to understand what her life had been like for the past 6 years. 6 years of something so dark, so painful, and so hidden from the world that it took Loveth almost all of those 6 years to find the courage to speak up. This story begins in 2019. Loveth was a young girl from Enugu State, a town in Igbo Eze North local government area of Enugu State, Nigeria. She had a family, she had a future, and then the wife of her older maternal cousin, a man named Emeka Emmanuel Nwangwu, passed away. Emeka lived in Ibekuopi in Nsukka local government area. He was alone now and needed help around the house. The family came together the way many Nigerian families do in moments of need and decided that Loveth would go and stay with Emeka. She would help him manage his home while he took care of her schooling. That was the agreement. That was the promise. But inside that house in Ibekuopi, no promise was kept. From the very beginning, Emeka Nwangwu did not treat Loveth like the young relative she was. He did not send her to school the way he promised her parents. Instead, according to what Loveth would later tell the police, he began taking advantage of her. She was just a child, and the man who was supposed to protect her was the very one destroying her. He cut her off from her family completely. He made sure she could not call them, could not visit them, could not reach out to anyone who might help her. He controlled her every move. He threatened her. According to Loveth's account, he told her that if she ever tried to run or tell anyone what was happening, he would harm her parents and her siblings. She believed him, so she stayed quiet. Year after year, she stayed quiet. But silence has a breaking point. By late 2025, Loveth had been living in this nightmare for 6 years. Somewhere deep inside her, something shifted. Maybe she got tired. Maybe she just decided that no matter what happened next, she could not keep living this way. Whatever the reason, Loveth made her move. She ran. She escaped from Emeka's house in Ibekuopi and fled back home to Enugu State, where her family lived. She must have felt some kind of relief when she finally got there. She was home. She was safe. Or so she thought. Emeka came after her. According to the police report later filed by the Enugu State Police Command, Emeka tracked Loveth to her family home in Enugu State. He came armed. He showed up with a firearm and threatened her. Then he forcibly took her back to his house in Nsukka, back to the place she had just escaped from. He locked her inside a room and made it clear that she was not going anywhere. But Loveth was not done fighting. Somehow, she found a spare key. She used it to unlock the room and escape again. And this time, she did not just run home, she ran to the police station. On November 28, 2025, Loveth Uloma Nwangwu walked into the Omabo Police Division in Nsukka and filed a formal report. She told the officers everything. She reported years of sexual abuse. She reported how Emeka had isolated her from her family. She reported how he had threatened her life. She reported the abduction at gunpoint that had happened just days before. She reported all of it. The police listened. They issued her a medical examination form. They invited Emeka and both families to the station for questioning. And when Emeka Nwangwu sat across from the police officers, something unexpected happened. He confessed. Not fully, but enough. He admitted to some of what Loveth had said. He begged for forgiveness. He promised to return her belongings. At that moment, with a confession on the table, something should have happened. Something official. Something that would have kept Loveth safe. But it didn't. Loveth's family, citing how sensitive and shameful the situation was, decided not to pursue criminal charges at that time. In their culture, what Emeka had done, a man violating a close relative, was considered a deep taboo, an abomination. The family decided they would handle it through spiritual cleansing instead of going through the court system. they let him go. And Loveth, the young woman who had found the courage to speak after 6 years of suffering, was left exposed.
Before we continue with what happened on December 1st, 2025, we need to talk about who Emeka Emmanuel Nwangwu really was. Because once you know his full story, you will understand why what happened next should never have been a surprise. Emeka Nwangwu was 51 years old in 2025. He worked as a member of the Neighborhood Security Watch Group in Nsukka, a community-level security role. To many people around him, he looked like an ordinary man doing a simple job. But his history told a very different story. His criminal life started as far back as the year 2000. According to his own confession made years earlier, Emeka got into a conflict with his fiancée in his hometown of Opi, Nsukka. When she decided she no longer wanted to marry him, he attacked her. He stabbed her, then he fled. He ran from Nsukka all the way to Lagos to escape the consequences. In Lagos, he got a job as a security guard at a company in Apapa. He worked there for less than a month before stealing over 750,000 naira from his employer. He then fled again, this time all the way to Ghana. That was just the beginning. By 2005, he returned to Lagos and began working as a private driver. He had a skill. He knew how to get people to trust him. He would apply for driving jobs, and when employers asked for guarantor forms, he would fill them with fake names, fake addresses, fake phone numbers. He would visit photo studios, pick up sample passport photographs that were left lying around, and use them to complete the fake forms. He looked legitimate on paper. He was not. In 2009, Emeka began taking children. A man named Afam Edeozie, who lived on Banana Island in Lagos, one of the most expensive neighborhoods in the country, paid 21 million naira in ransom after Emeka took his daughter. Another woman from Magodo in Lagos had her child taken and paid 2.5 million naira to get her back. His operation was not small. It was organized. It stretched across multiple countries. He and his accomplices would take a child, flee to Ghana, Ivory Coast, Sierra Leone or Benin Republic, collect ransom payments and disappear. Then they would come back to Nigeria and start the whole cycle again. His most profile case happened when he was working as a driver for Folarin Koka, a former aide to ex-Lagos State Governor Babatunde Fashola. Emeka had been working in the Koka home for barely 1 month. On the day he made his move, he cleverly got rid of the female house help who normally came with him to pick up the family's young daughter from school. He sent her on an errand to buy medication along Awolowo Way, Imikoyi. The moment she was gone, he took the child. He drove to Mauto in Lagos, and together with his then-fiancée, Patricia Bena, they boarded a vehicle and headed straight to Ghana. He was eventually caught and arrested in 2012. He sat down with investigators and confessed to everything. He described his crimes in detail. He said he was actually glad to have been caught because life on the run was exhausting. He was tried, convicted, and sentenced. But somehow, years later, Emeka Nwangwu was free. Not only was he free, he was back in Nsukka, the very place his life of crime had started. And not only was he back, he had been given an official community security role. A leaked petition later revealed that community leaders in Opi Nsukka had actually sent a letter to the Enugu State government as far back as May 21, 2025. The letter was sent by the Federated Ibeku Opi Town Union, and it called on the government to remove Emeka from his security appointment because of his criminal background. They warned that placing a known criminal in a community security role was dangerous. The government did not act. Right now, pause for a second. Before we get to what happened on December 1st, I want to ask you something. What would you have done if you were Loveth? After years of suffering, would you have been brave enough to go to the police? Write your answer in the comments section below. Let us talk about this. And if you have not subscribed to Trem Crime Zone yet, please do it right now. We bring you real stories like this every week, stories that most people will never hear unless someone tells them. Click that subscribe button and ring the notification bell so you never miss a story. Now, back to the 3 days after Loveth went to the police. After Emeka confessed and begged for forgiveness at the police station on November 28, 2025, and after the family decided not to press charges, Emeka walked out. He was not locked up, he was not restricted, he was free to move around in Nsukka as he pleased. What was going through his mind during those 3 days? We cannot say for certain, but based on what came next, it is clear that he was not thinking about forgiveness or change. He was angry. A young woman, a woman he had controlled for years, had exposed him. She had gone to the police. His secrets were now known to officers, to both families and to the community. The power he had held over her for so long was slipping away. And he was not going to let that happen. Loveth, meanwhile, was trying to recover. She was seeking medical treatment for injuries she had sustained. On the morning of December 1st, 2025, she went to a pharmacy near Nsukka town to get the care she needed. Someone saw her there. Someone told Emeka where she was. He did not waste time.
Loveth was sitting in the pharmacy waiting for her treatment when Emeka Nwangwu forced his way through the door. There was no warning, there was no confrontation at the entrance. He simply came in and went straight for her. What followed happened fast and was witnessed by people who could not believe what they were seeing. Emeka grabbed Loveth and began attacking her. He struck her head against the floor, repeatedly, with force. Witnesses watched in horror as a grown man slammed a young woman's head against the hard ground over and over again until she stopped moving. She went still. People rushed to her. Emergency help was called. Loveth was rushed to the hospital, but the damage that had been done to her was too severe. At the hospital, doctors confirmed what those who had watched the attack already feared. Loveth Uloma Nwangwu was gone. Outside the pharmacy, an angry crowd gathered. Word traveled fast. People heard what had happened. They heard that a man had just walked into a pharmacy and ended a young woman's life in front of witnesses. Their anger was immediate and overwhelming. A mob formed around Emeka. They were ready to deliver street justice right there, the kind of justice that Nigerian crowds sometimes feel is the only justice that actually works. Emeka was seconds away from being torn apart by that crowd. Then a man named Solomon Chukwudi stepped forward. Solomon did not believe in jungle justice. He believed that no matter what a person had done, they deserved to face the law properly. So he pushed through the angry crowd. He put himself between Emeka and the mob. He physically shielded this man from the crowd's anger. Then he got Emeka into his vehicle and drove him straight to the Nsukka police station. Solomon thought he was doing the right thing. He had no idea yet what Emeka had truly done or what kind of man he had just saved. At the Nsukka police station, something happened that left everyone stunned in the room. Officers were present, community members who had assisted with the arrest were there, the area commander was present, several DPOs and regular police officers were in the room, and in front of all of them, Emeka Nwangwu pulled out his phone and made a call. On that call, in a voice that showed no fear, no guilt, no remorse, he told the person on the other end that he had found Loveth and that he had ended her life. He said it out loud, in the police station, in front of officers, as if he was announcing something he was proud of. The room went cold. Solomon Chukwudi, the man who had just risked his own safety to protect Emeka from that mob, felt something shift inside him. He later wrote about that moment, saying he deeply regretted intervening. He said that when he approached the crowd at the pharmacy, he had not known the full story. He said that while he had never believed in jungle justice, this was one case where his own intervention felt like a mistake he would carry for a long time. This is the moment I want you to think about. If you were Solomon and you found out who you had just saved and what he had done, how would you feel? Type your answer in the comments right now. I read every single comment on this channel. And if this story is opening your eyes, if you feel like more people need to hear stories like this, please share this video. Share it with one person today. Stories like Loveth's deserve to be heard. Emeka Nwangwu was formally arrested and taken into custody. Loveth's remains were taken to the mortuary for preservation and an autopsy. The Commissioner of Police for Enugu State, CP Maman Bitros Giwa, released a public statement condemning the attack in the strongest terms. He described what Emeka had done as cruel, inhuman, and completely unacceptable. He directed the State Criminal Investigation Department to conduct a thorough investigation and ensure the case was charged to court as quickly as possible. A few days later, Emeka was arraigned in court on a single count of murder. The court ordered his remand at the Enugu Maximum Correctional Center and directed that his case file be forwarded to the Ministry of Justice through the Directorate of Public Prosecution for legal review. A man who had confessed to crimes in 2012, who had been warned about by community leaders in a petition to the government in May 2025, who confessed again to police officers on November 28, 2025, was now sitting in a correctional facility facing a murder charge. But for Loveth, that justice came too late. Let us be honest about what happened here.
let us not look away from the hard parts of this story, because those hard parts are exactly where the lessons live. Loveth Uloma Nwangwu was placed in Emeka Nwangwu's home as a young girl. She was a child sent to a family member's house by people who trusted him. From that point, she was cut off from everyone who could have helped her. No phone access, no freedom to visit family, no way to call for help. For 6 years, she lived under that control. 6 years of fear, of threats, of isolation. And then she fought back. She escaped, not once, but twice. The second time, even after being forcibly returned at gunpoint, she found a spare key, unlocked that room, and ran straight to the police. That took extraordinary courage. That is not a small thing. Loveth had every reason to believe that speaking up would make things worse. She had been threatened her whole time in that house. She had watched Emeka demonstrate what he was capable of, and she still went to the police. That courage deserved protection. It did not receive it. When the police invited both families in and Emeka confessed, the right path was clear. A confession had been made. There was documented abuse, there was a report of abduction at gunpoint, there was a medical examination form that had been issued. There was more than enough to hold Emeka and pursue charges. But instead, the family was allowed to step back and choose a non-legal route. And Emeka walked out of that station. 3 days later, Loveth was gone. This is not said to blame the family entirely. Families in Nigeria, especially in close-knit communities, face enormous pressure to handle serious matters quietly. There is shame, there is fear of community judgment, there is the weight of tradition. Those pressures are real. But the lesson this case teaches us is that some crimes are too serious for private resolution. Some acts cross a line where the law must step in, whether the family asks it to or not. When someone confesses to years of abuse, to abduction, to threatening someone's life with a firearm, that person must be held by law enforcement. That is not a family matter anymore. It is a criminal matter. And allowing that person to walk free while the victim is still vulnerable is not a neutral act. It is a dangerous one. The second lesson this case teaches us is about believing people when they speak. Loveth told the police exactly what had been done to her. She gave names, she gave dates, she gave details. She told them about the gun, she told them about being locked in the room, she told them everything. She was given a medical form and sent on her way. The system processed her report, and then, in a critical moment, it stepped back. We must ask ourselves what our systems are actually for. A system that receives a report of serious abuse, gets a confession from the person accused, and then allows that person to remain free near the victim, that system has failed. It has not just failed Loveth, it has sent a message to every woman or young person in a similar situation that coming forward may not protect you. That message must change. The third lesson is about Emeka himself. He was not an unknown risk. He had a documented criminal history that went back over 20 years. He had been convicted of child abduction. He had confessed to multiple serious crimes. His own community had written a formal letter to the state government warning them about him. Multiple chances existed to prevent what happened on December 1st, 2025. Multiple systems failed to act. When we place people with serious unresolved criminal backgrounds in official security roles, we are not just ignoring warning signs, we are putting them in positions of authority that make them harder to challenge and easier for them to cause harm. Now, let us talk about Loveth one more time. Not about what happened to her, but about who she was. She was a young woman with her whole life ahead of her. She was someone's daughter, someone's sister. She had survived 6 years of something that would have broken many people. And instead of staying silent, she chose to speak. She ran, she reported, she fought. She did every single thing we are told survivors should do. She should be alive today. She deserved to be alive today. What happened to Loveth is a tragedy, but it is not a mystery. It is the direct result of a series of failures, individual, institutional, and systemic, that left a young woman exposed at the most vulnerable moment of her life. We cannot bring Loveth back, but we can make sure her story is heard. We can make sure that the next time someone speaks up about abuse, the response is swift and firm. We can make sure that confessions are treated as confessions, not as conversation starters before families take over. We can make sure that when a community writes a letter warning about a dangerous person, that letter does not sit in an office collecting dust. Emeka Emmanuel Nwangwu has been charged with murder and remanded at the Enugu Maximum Correctional Center. His case file has been sent to the Ministry of Justice. The legal process is ongoing. As new developments emerge, this channel will bring them to you. But this story is already complete in one important sense. A young woman found her courage. She used that courage to speak the truth, and the world let her down. Do not let her story be forgotten. Share this video right now with one person, just one, because stories like Loveth deserve to travel further than they usually do. Every share is one more person who knows what happened here. Drop a comment below. What do you think should happen to Emeka Emmanuel Nwangwu? What do you think the government and police should do differently? I want to hear from you. And if you are not yet a subscriber to Trem Crime Zone, this channel exists for one reason: to make sure that the crimes happening around us do not stay hidden. Real cases, real victims, real justice. Subscribe now and turn on your notifications so you never miss a story. My name is your host, and I will see you in the next one. Stay safe, stay aware.